everybody. This is Sunil Malkani, Assistant Professor Economics in Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Government College, Silvassa. Today, I am going to discuss economic reforms in India. Okay, dear students, economic reforms in India were implemented mainly in two sectors. First sector, which we are going to see today, is industrial sector. Okay, in industrial sector there are some main features you can see in this slide, that in industrial sector what were the reforms which were implemented. You can see here, first there was abolition of industrial licensing. Before 1991, for starting any new industrial unit you need an industrial license from the government. So this system was abolished uh, in 1991 economic reforms. ओके, आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि जो मेजर रिफॉर्म्स हैं इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स, वो इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर में इम्प्लीमेंट किए गए थे 1991 में. उसमें फर्स्ट रिफॉर्म आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे कि इंडस्ट्रियल लाइसेंसिंग सिस्टम जो है उसे अबोलिश किया गया. उसका मतलब क्या होता है कि आपको जो मीन्स किसी को भी अपने नई इंडस्ट्री डालनी हो या फैक्ट्री खोलनी हो तो उनको क्या करना पड़ता था, गवर्नमेंट से लाइसेंस लेना पड़ता था. तो अब वो सिस्टम जो है उसको अबोलिश कर दिया गया था कि आपको नया इंडस्ट्री खोलने के लिए या फिर कुछ प्रोडक्शन हाउस स्टार्ट करने के लिए आपको लाइसेंस की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. सो this is called abolition of industrial licensing. The second thing was rationalization of reservation for small scale industries. Before 1991, many industries were reserved for small scale industries, and because of that, large scale industries were not able to produce many items. So what happened after 1991, many items were removed from this reservation list, and now anybody can produce these items. So large industries also came into this, and then this system was changed. इसमें क्या होता था कि जो स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज जो हैं उनके लिए रिजर्व कर दी गई थी बहुत सारी आइटम्स. तो इसके लिए क्या होता था, लार्ज स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर पाती थी उन आइटम्स को. और दूसरा क्या होता था, स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज़ का जो लिमिट है, इन्वेस्टमेंट लिमिट, वो बहुत कम रखा गया था. तो उसकी वजह से क्या है कि जो प्रोडक्शन, जो इस टाइप की जो चीज़ें थी उसमें प्रोडक्शन जो है बहुत कम होता था, उसकी स्कैर्सिटी क्रिएट होती थी. इसकी वजह से क्या होता था, हमारे देश में बहुत सारा प्रोडक्शन जो है वो नहीं हो पाता था और उसका इंपोर्ट करना पड़ता था. इसीलिए क्या किया गया कि ये जो रिजर्वेशन है स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज़ के लिए उसे ख़त्म कर दिया गया. ठीक है. So this is called rationalization of reservation for small scale industries, or small scale industries limit also increased. The next point is the privatization of inefficient public sector undertakings. Our industries were divided into two parts, public sector and private sector mainly. So many industries who were who were in you know public sector, so they are called public sector undertakings. Many industries became very inefficient. ठीक है, पब्लिक सेक्टर में होने की वजह से और उसकी कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं उसमें पब्लिक सेक्टर में, इसी की वजह से दे बिकेम इनएफिशिएंट बिकॉज they were working in government sector. So government sector has its own limitations, so they became inefficient. So what we needed to privatize these inefficient public sector undertakings to revive them. And many public sector undertakings were doing very good, so they needed autonomy. So in the next point we could see that autonomy was given to efficient public sector units. Many efficient public sector units are there. So you can see that There are Maharatnas and means Maharatnas, Mini Ratnas. Those public sector undertakings are given autonomy. Okay, many public sector undertakings also were given a restructure plan for reviving them. Many public sector units was restructured to revive them. So in this way, public sector units, there are some you know uh, reforms, economic reforms were implemented in these things. Okay, and the last point is technological transfers. Okay, technological transfer, foreign investment, and private participations were made easy in some public sector units, because sector units, if you want to revive them, if you want to make them profitable, so technological transfers, foreign investment, and private partnership should be allowed in that. So in this way, you can see that there are some points, there are some reforms which were implemented in this industrial sector. You can see in this slide. Students, economic reforms in external sector. This is our second slide for economic reforms. Economic reforms were implemented. In the first slide, we have seen that it is implemented in industrial sector. uh, in the in this slide we'll see that it is also implemented in external sector. What is now external sector? External sector is mainly related with international trade and foreign investment. Okay, so now we'll see the economic reforms were implemented in external sector in a very extensive way. Okay, so how it is implemented? First of all, international trade. This international trade was liberalized, and foreign investment also was liberalized. First, let's see international trade. In international trade, you can see that uh, before 1991 the international trade was very restricted. Very few items, were imported and exported. Actually, we was not allowing import also, so we had import quota. We had import quota system. So this import quota system was abolished after 1991. Gradually, after that, before 1991, the import duties were very high. Sometimes it was 200 300% import duties were there. You can see, imported items were very costly at that point of time. After that, you can see now we don't differentiate between domestic item and import items. Generally, you can go to market and find so many items which are imported, but we don't tell it now as an import item. Okay, because imported item. So why it is so? Because at that point of time very few items were imported and import duties were very high, so their cost, their price was very high. Nowadays, the average import duty is around 10%, so it is comparable to domestic duties. So prices are also similar. From foreign company, items are now actually cheaper than the domestic. So this differentiation is now not needed. So this is because of economic reforms. Import quotas are altogether abolished, import duties are reduced, and apart from that, for foreign trade or international trade, what do you need? You need foreign exchange. Okay, so these foreign exchange norms are relaxed. You need foreign exchange for doing any trade, import export. So foreign exchange norms are relaxed, and this trade is generally done on current account. It is called current account. So on current account, this foreign exchange is made convertible fully. What does it mean? If you want foreign exchange for trade purpose, you can convert as much as possible from your currency to foreign currency, to foreign currency to Indian currency. So this is what, this is the full convertibility on current account, it is called. Okay, so this is also one of the reform in foreign exchange. And but foreign exchange is still very it is not fully convertible on capital account. Still, you have capital account convertibility. What is capital account? So we'll see. uh, you know if you uh, if you want to do any investment, okay, uh, for like if a Indian person wants to take or buy foreign company's share in foreign exchange, okay, foreign share market. So it is not possible now because you don't have full capital account convertibility. But still, if you want to trade, you have full convertibility. On capital account, there are convertibility means, if you want to invest outside your country or outside people wants to invest, there is a way. Like, if foreigners wants to you know um, invest in our Indian stock exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, what they can do, they can make one hedge fund. Okay, they can make one institution and they can invest, and that kind of investment is called as foreign institutional investment. So foreign apart from international trade, another liberalized section sector is foreign investment. In foreign investment, you have two kinds of investment. First one is foreign direct investment. The second type is foreign institutional investment. So in foreign direct investment, what happens? If a foreign company wants to invest in India, they can come directly, and they can establish their factory or company. So in that way, it provides the direct employment in in our country. So that is why it is called foreign direct investment. What is foreign institutional investment? Foreign institutional investment is the way foreigners can invest in our stock exchanges, capital investment. So the so these are the two different two different ways through which foreigners can investment in India, and it is called foreign investment. Okay, so this foreign investment, you can see that it is also liberalized. Before 1991, it was not possible to invest in India. Okay, and it was very difficult. But after this point of time, it is liberalized after 1991. In 1991 reforms, economic reforms, this foreign investment way also was liberalized, and now you can see a lot of investment of foreign origin in India. Okay, so in external sector reforms, you can see in international trade and foreign investment liberalized, import quota system was abolished, import duties were reduced, and foreign exchange norms were relaxed, and foreign investment, it was also a lot encouraged. Okay.